What's up, everybody? It's a Victory Tuesday. Wow, this is. He said timeout.
No, she's doing the T for Tuesday.
T for Tuesday. I was looking at the pod number. You know, I almost wish you had messed it up again, Pierre, and kept it 85. This is a nasty number for a nasty week for a nasty guy. All right. Whatever. We don't care about 2017. That was so long ago, dude. I was still in college, bro. Like, I don't know anybody who was on the team in 2017 who wore number 86 who might be coming to return here.
You might got to pick another player, buddy. I love you. I don't know. We can figure it out along the way, but I love him. I'll die for him. But this week,
the enemy.
I'm the guy behind the bullet.
Nasty work. Oh, yeah. Let me go to the Commanders. All right. Put your left hand up then. All right, Zach, and get out of my face. All right. Well, that was a kind of crazy intro. I'm Parth. I'm here with Pierre and Quell. How are you guys doing today? We're headed to the NFC Championship once again.
It's very cold. That's how I'm doing. Freezing.
Quell, you know how cold it is, bro? He told us. He was complaining about the cold. 35 degrees.
I'm not in Philly in my excuse. I'm in Savannah. We're not used to this, bro. We are not used to this.
35 degrees is crazy, bro.
It was 35 degrees last night. Man, I get that on a normal day. Walk outside to take the trash out.
Brother, it is snowing. It is snowing in Savannah.
That's not unordinary.
Yes, it is unordinary.
Snow in Savannah is unordinary, but snow, I guess you're just not used to it.
No, I'm not.
You would have looked like the Rams on Sunday up here, buddy.
Maybe if it wasn't snowing, Pierre, I have a better podcast.
All right, Quell, how are you doing? How cold is it where you are? I gotta know.
Well, beloved dub to those who celebrate. It's the one and only Mark Wolf Owens. Also cold. It is probably about 12 degrees down here. I mean, it's okay. I've layered up. I come prepared for the battle.
You got the Eagles equipment guy, the one Sirianni's been talking about all week.
Yeah, I called him soon as Saquon put the word out on him. I called him and I said, "Hey, man, how do you prepare for cold weather games? These aren't your weather ones." So how we feeling, you guys, man? We, like you said, Parth, we heading into the NFC Championship. This is, I guess you could say, this was the expectation, for lack of a better term. This is what you guys said. It was this or bust for you guys. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten to this point. So, I mean, I guess point one is safe to say Nick Sirianni's job is safe.
Yep.
But point two, the enemy on the other side will be an enemy, just that, but someone intriguing. We're going to touch more on the enemy, going more of a deep dive and stuff of that later in the pod. And, of course, later on in the week when we do our preview. But how you guys feeling up to this point? I mean, a win is a win. You got people complaining about Jalen Hurts and his performance, yet other quarterbacks threw for less yards than him. You got people saying Saquon Barkley is the only way this team could win. What's the vibes, man?
I'll let Pierre go first because I saw one of his tweets and then I was thinking off of that too. So why don't you go on the passing game real quick?
Yeah, man. Like, my biggest thing since the Rams game has just been like, a win is a win. Like, it don't matter how it looked. It don't matter what they needed to do. Like it's been, majority of this season, the things, whatever they needed to do to win, that's what they've done. Like you talked about, Quell, you look at the divisional round throughout this past weekend, right? Like Mahomes had under 200 yards, 200 passing yards. Josh Allen under 200 passing yards. Jalen Hurts under 200 passing yards. And I don't necessarily think the yardage itself is I guess the issue. I guess it's more for the Eagles. I guess it's more how disjointed and inconsistent the passing game looks at times. But at the same time, like, if you watch this past game against the Rams, right, like the throws were there, right? Like the missed throw to AJ, or the two missed throws to AJ. There were a couple. Yeah, there were a couple that Jalen he flat out missed. But at the same time, like, I just keep coming back to it, man. A win is a win, right? Like, if you look at this game, like the way the lens through which I view it, right? I think it's a testament to the job Howie Roseman has done constructing this roster, right? Like, they're built to win in the playoffs. They're built to win playing this way.
Hey, I'm gonna give me a second, Parth. I'm gonna let you go, but it kind of what Pierre just said. Like I said a few weeks ago, I made the joke like the Eagles play travel football. And I mean, last week is exactly what travel football is, the type of football that you can't play, or they say you can't play every Sunday. Now, you mentioned Howie Roseman, Pierre, and I mean, often when we talk about Howie, my favorite thing to go back to is him basically saying, in this league, why he's been so successful at least is when everybody else is zigging, he has to zag. And if you basically are copycatting, you're already 2 steps behind. So you try to get ahead of the 8 ball, things of that nature. And I feel as if when you look at this football team, this is an embodiment of, like you said, what Howie Roseman has built. It's not conventional. It's not what everybody else is doing. At the same time as saying that, it's winning football games. And it's not just winning football games, but it's not like the formula isn't something that you can continue to use. It may not be pretty, but I mean, Jalen Hurts said this weeks ago, his job isn't to make, actually, he's continued to say, he said it last week also. Well, basically, my job isn't to make it look pretty. My job is to do what I have to do to win these games. I don't care if we run for 200 yards, we throw for 200 yards, as long as the result comes in a victory, I've done my job. And I mean, I just feel as if we've lost sight of what's important.
So, and wait, let me rebuttal that. Like, well, not rebuttal, but just kind of state more in favor of that, right? Like, to me, at what point do we just say this is their formula? Like, this is the way they were built. This is the way they're going to play.
But it's
this
not. That's disingenuous to say that they're just built that way. They have 2 of the best wide receivers in the league. I know, but they have 2 of the best.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying like they were built to play like this, but I'm saying like Howie Roseman constructed this roster to essentially be fail-proof, right? Like when one part fails, the other part picks up the slack. It's been this way all year.
I kind of agree, but I think I don't know. So let me state my piece. I think I see what Quell's saying with the zag, and I that's what I feel like this roster is. I think that's a really good way to put it, where everyone is zigging, everyone is like, oh, it's like the pass game, where when we got caught up in it, right? We drafted Jalen Reagor because we wanted the speed. We wanted to take the top off the defense because there was a Tyreek Hill couple Super Bowls, and that was the big thing to do. So we go and we draft 3 guys who are fast in one draft, right? And then and no other types of receivers. He learned, and then he started zagging. And now this year, you have a couple teams that paid running backs, and they all did pretty well in the playoffs. Now, it didn't necessarily work out for everyone the way it did for the Eagles, but this could be the next step in the evolution of the NFL and just the cyclical nature of how football goes. But when it comes to formula of winning, I get what you're saying, Pierre. It's supposed to be foolproof. You got the backups for the backups. You got everything, and I think there is truth to that. I rewatched some of the game back. I was at the game. It was amazing. I was cold for days and I lost my voice, but hey, it was
talk about that. Talk about that for a little bit before you continue, man. What was being in that environment like?
I had to honestly, it was emotional, like straight up, bro. You because you look up and there's just like fans are like jumping everywhere. Everyone's losing their mind. And then you're looking up and you just see like snow swirling everywhere. And then I remember looking on the field and I'm seeing like the guys with the friggin' snow blower or with the leaf blowers opening up the yard lines and everything. And I'm like, dude, I can't believe I'm here right now. Like I remember watching the Snow Bowl years ago. And then there's like the Saquon runs or the first Jalen run. I'll like just talk about that for a second. We're all like, everyone's like a little cold. We're excited for the game. And everyone's like, getting to know everyone around you. Jalen breaks that run. Like he breaks his leg free of that one tackle and he starts going and you just there's that. I'm gonna bring up the Gators again. There's that video of LaMichael Pirine like way at Florida, and there's just this ground view of the swamp, and it's as soon as he breaks it, you just hear the decibel spike, and that's exactly what it felt like. Where it was just like it was already loud, and then it went to like a point where you couldn't even imagine get that loud, and then you're going around, you're like hugging and high fiving all these randos around you. Like I went to the game solo, dude. I was supposed to go with my boy Brandon. He was a little sick. Happens. I went solo. I usually like don't really go to games. So like I always got my little brother with me or something. This time I went by myself and like, dude, like little kids around. We were like giving each other high fives. Like there was like a family behind me. Like everyone just like so in the moment, and everything else doesn't matter. And it's just like everyone is so fired up. My mom, who never watches games, was tapped in because I was at the game, and like apparently my grandpa called to like talk about something, and she was like, I can't talk right now. The Eagles are on, and this game is too crazy. And he was like, you're gonna choose football over talking to your own dad? And she's like, Papa, I have to go right now. This game is too crazy. And so like, it was felt everywhere in the city. And that's what I love about football. It's just the connective tissue about it all that just brings everyone together. And then, I mean, they didn't need to make it so stressful on me, especially somebody as emotional as me, where I'm just like, oh my God, I'm going to be at the game where they lose. And this is going to be the end of me. I'm never going to go to a game again. Like, why is this going to happen? And then, Jake Elliott misses the extra point, but then nails those 2 field goals at the end. It was like a movie, bro. It was a movie.
That's not good enough. I need to know, because I seen the video. We all seen the video what Saquon looked like, and you could hear actively on the video when he broke the first tackle. It was like, yay! And then when they seen he was free, it was yay! Like you could hear the volume. But I guess I need to know between that play and the Puka Nacua catch, what was your vibes like? Because I need to know what the vibes in the building was like.
What, Puka made the catch or when he dropped it?
When he made that catch.
Oh my God. PG-13 real quick, but the butthole was puckering, bro. I mean, you were sitting there and you were like, oh my God, are we really about to watch this happen? Vic got in his bag. Everyone made the plays, but there was a moment there, man, where I was like, oh man, is this actually gonna happen?
How it is.
Brother, that drive after the second Saquon touchdown, when LA legit just drove the ball down, matriculated the ball down the field. What was it, like a minute in like 20 seconds or something like that?
It was terrifying. I was like,
yeah.
Did that like, and there was like a moment where everyone in the stadium was like, did that just happen? Like, did that actually just like, because it was so fast, like you said, Pierre, and I don't even know if there were any like timeouts, like any like TV timeouts. It was just like down the field, and it was like, like we got the ball back. Like, did they really just score again? And then another one of those moments was the safety. We were like, oh my God, Jalen, like, come on, dude. Like, it was just like, no, don't take the safety. And there's like, we took the safety. And then, you already have like the missed extra points. So you're like, dude, are we going to lose this game by a field goal?
2
like
extra points.
My thing on the safety,
and those are the 2 points right there.
My thing on the safety is like, why are you calling a 5-7 step drop out of your own end zone? Like,
there's nothing wrong with that. It's a problem when your quarterback's hurt.
Yeah. That's another part of it. So this brings me back into my point that I was going to say. So regardless of how the team is built or whatever it is, we have explosive players at all points in the field. So that means that, yeah, hypothetically, one part should be able to account for the other if one's lagging off. But the ideal vision behind this team was they build on each other. Right, is that the run game is so strong that the passing game opens up, and the passing game is so strong that it opens up the running game. And you're constantly putting your defensive coordinator in flux with that last man in the box and in which way you want to do it. Feels like the offense. I think it took a step forward last game, which is weird to say because, like you guys said, there were a lot of things that just didn't work out. And I think if that Dallas Goedert screen doesn't get called back, if Devontae catches that ball where he just got smacked, or AJ catches that touchdown, I think he had 2 drops actually. I mean, whatever it might be, the passing game looks different. That being, and before I even get into this next part, what you said at the beginning was right, Pierre. Winning is winning, especially, and this is coming from somebody who's been, picking at each win all year. It's the playoffs. You win how you can, you get out and you go to the next game. I'm 100% with that. But the questions are valid because we've also seen the game against the Super Bowl, in the game in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, where Jalen had to play the game of his life, and we still, came up short. So things need to be operating at the optimal efficiency, right? So
right there, though, that part, like.
So one second. So the last thing that I wanted to say, sorry. So I know this is a little long-winded, but I know when we talk about the passing game, a lot of times it just is synonymous for Jalen and how Jalen is doing. Last game, the passing game struggled because everyone struggled. O-line was beat a lot. Now, Jalen took some of those sacks and he didn't need to, but like we talked about, he was injured. Two, Lane Johnson got beat by Jared Verse once. Jordan Mailata got beat by Jared Verse once. And that happens. The other teams have good players too. And then we had drops. So the passing game as a whole just wasn't functioning on all cylinders. And that's where I was like, after leaving the game, I was like a little annoyed. We won, but I was like, damn, like I know they could have been better. And I think that's been the frustrating part. What everyone just keeps latching onto is because we know it's like it's right there. And it's like, why you put it together and all of a sudden Jalen has a 200-yard passing day and Saquon has a like 200-yard ground game, and nobody can say anything. It's the ideal game. So,
but I think that's the saving grace. Like for me, this is my perspective on it, right? Like the fact that we've seen them do it, and the fact that, like you talked about the last game, opportunities were there, they just didn't materialize, right? Like that. I think that's what it is for me. Just we've seen them do it. We know that it's in there. It's just about them going and actually executing.
It just feels like in 2022, we used up so much of like the positive side of so many of those 50-50 balls that we're like paying back the regression recently. And I think that's why it's been compounding this year, is because we've seen what it looks like. It's just like been almost there like all year. And that's why it's like people are losing their minds. But at the same time, hey, you just won a playoff game and you're about to play a game, or you're about to play a team that just let up 200 rushing yards. If you can play safe football, complementary football, that's your recipe for success again.
I mean, yeah, but I guess my whole point about it is, yes, the passing game could and should be better. I think this game specifically, I mean, like you guys stated, it's a little bit of all parties involved. Jalen took a couple bad sacks that you probably shouldn't take. Very important bad sacks. At that, I believe, I mean, there's been conversations about leaving points on the board. I think he essentially cost the Eagles 6 points at least. He took a sack on 3rd and 8 from the Rams 30, which set the team back. And then he took a sack on a 2nd and 8 from the Rams 32, which essentially killed that drive. So, I mean, yeah, he's within his wrongs. We can also have the conversation about, I made a joke to my wife during the game when I was watching, like, hell, David Kellen Moore might as well hand his play sheet too to Jeff Stoutland, since Jeff Stoutland got to do everything, because clearly the rushing attack was what was working. And we can make the argument about, was Kellen Moore there? Was the interviews a factor? You can make the argument about, well, HA catches those two footballs, we're not having this conversation even a little bit. You can make the argument that Jalen can play better. It's like you said, it's all parties. But I guess for me, it's like you guys said a second ago. I guess it's more so the opposite. Excuse me. For me, Parth, where you said we got to the Super Bowl, you seen Jalen play the game of his life and things of that nature, and we still lost. So we got to find a way to take it to another level. And I mean, I guess that's why I've been the way that I have all year long, or I've had the perspective that I've had all year long, because how I personally see it is, excuse my French, but y'all can go to hell. I don't really care if he throws for 114 passing yards or 214 passing yards. I mean, yeah, there's context behind all of these. Well, maybe he's not making the right reads. Maybe it was the weather. Maybe he's trying to protect the football, which I'll touch on in a second as well, where it's like, I'm sure there's a story to be told behind why this passing game looks like this. And some of it is Jalen Hurts has to be better. I don't think that's the complete story, though. And I've been saying that the entire time. But like I said, you watched him play the game of his life and we lost. And now we're playing a brand of football where it's like, again, I said a while ago, unconventional. But who's to say that we really can't win this way?
Absolutely. I mean, you're totally right. And I think that's the attitude of the Eagles as well. And I want to make clear that what I'm saying is not about yardage. I'm not trying to say like, oh,
no, this isn't to you. It's just the conversation in general.
So I understand that. And everyone's been pulling up like the Brady stats. Like Brady has had multiple games throwing under 200 to win the game. So I absolutely think that there is, context in that. I think it's just probably because we're zigging in the way that we're approaching the game, right? Going back to what you said about zigzagging is maybe it's just because we haven't seen a team win like a Super Bowl like this in a long time, where it's just like, hey, we're going to control the time of possession. And it's honestly because Mahomes has a little bit of the boogeyman now, like where it's just like, dude, like whatever they're going to do on the Chiefs, like whatever calls we're going to have to deal with, like are we going to have to throw the ball to get back in the game? And I think that's where everyone's fears are honestly coming from. And I know there's like a lot
So
of
wait.
disingenuous
Do we give the Bills any chance on Sunday?
Yes, the Bills got a chance.
Oh yeah. I'm talking in general. Those AFC teams in general, they score fast and they can score a lot. Like those every time we've watched Chiefs Bills, it's always like 30-something, and it comes down to like the last second. Right. And it's like Patrick Mahomes is going to get the ball back with a minute 30 left, and he's going to get some crazy pass interference call, and then they're going to get a field goal to win the game. We've seen it a million times. And so I think there's just that PTSD aspect where it's just like, dude, are we going to have to pass it?
But
Do it? But your point is right, Quell, and that's what I want to get to. Is just like you control the time of possession. You don't turn over the ball.
I guess for me, it's a little deeper than that because I'm glad you brought up the Chiefs, and you brought up earlier in the pod about these teams who invested in the running attack. And you got one in the NFC in Green Bay, but in Green Bay and Baltimore and these teams who have invested in an active rushing attack in the league that made the playoffs, they've kind of went down, like you said. I guess the big difference between those teams and this team is turnovers. Those games, Jordan Love turned the ball over. Lamar Jackson turned the ball over. If Jalen Hurts can continue to take care of the football, I don't see a reason why this can't work because those teams put themselves in a position where you could use the rushing attack, but you're kind of behind the 8 ball now. And this isn't to say that those teams can't throw the ball. Of course they can.
No, you're right.
But
you're right.
It's the bread and butter kind of thing.
When you're trying to focus your offense on rushing the ball, and that's what you want your identity to be. That means you need to have the ball. You need to be able to chew up time of possession. And if you're giving them the ball extra times, it's never going to work. It's never. And that's why so many people that's why so many people were so against the run game, where it's just like, oh, you're not going to be able to pick up, chunk plays and eat up the clock fast, or you're going to eat up the clock too much and not be able to score fast enough. But obviously when you have Saquon Barkley breaking off multiple 60-yard runs, your run game is a little bit different than other people's. But I totally agree, Quell. It's like
what makes the conversation so hilarious because a lot of people how many times did we have the conversation in 2022 and then last year and then early this year because the Eagles in 2022 were throwing the ball, like you said, they used up their 50-50 ball window and they were throwing the ball down the field at an absurd rate. And it's like, it's not going to keep working. But then when Saquon Barkley is breaking off 60-yard run after 60-yard run after 60-yard run, and they're getting the explosive play from a different area of the field, the conversation is, well, that's not going to still work either. So, at some point, it's like, well, how do you want this team to play offense?
Because of the eye test, bro. Like I tweeted earlier this week, bro, people have this archaic way of looking at the game of football, man. Like, we got to get out of this mindset where every quarterback has to throw for 330 yards and 4 touchdowns.
It's hilarious that you're saying that. I agree with what you're saying, but it's hilarious that we're now saying that it's archaic to say that you can't run the ball and win a game because that used to, football is so cyclical, bro, man. It's so much.
Every time we have these types of conversations, I always go back to Quell. Say the same, bro.
Football is nothing but 100-year civil war. We just recycling the same traits but modernizing them. That's all.
Exactly.
Absolutely, man. It's the same thing back and forth. It's the yin and the yang. It's the run and the pass, baby. Nothing like it. And so, all right.
But before we change topics, like I do want to say, like I think I don't want this to get lost on everybody. Like let's take a moment to take a look at where the Eagles are at right now, bro. Like NFC Championship, like this is their second NFC Championship in 3 years.
Yeah.
They've made the playoffs all 4 years under Nick Sirianni. If they win, it's the third Super Bowl in 2025. 8 years. Like this playoff run specifically, this is the first time in franchise history they've hosted a wild card, divisional, and NFC Championship game. Like I don't want all of those things to get lost in the nuanced conversations about the passing game and everything like that.
No, absolutely.
I'm so angry you left out. I was like, he on a roll. I just know he gonna say the last stat, and you left out the last stat.
What's the last one?
The Eagles have made their eighth NFC Championship game in the last 24 years, which only the Patriots have been to more. Mahomes, he on your ass, but we'll worry about that later.
belt to ass. I'm so sick of Mahomes. I hate him and his family.
Bro,
I
that
hate them.
game, that game on what was it, Saturday, bro? It was terrible. Though. That's
It's just
horrible
thievery.
football,
It's
bro.
just thievery. I don't even know how you enjoy watching that shit, dude. It's just gross. It's not even football.
It's so frustrating.
It's like
it's happening. It's been like that
wait,
all
before you
year.
go, before you
All
go,
year,
it's like
every
you know what
game.
it was reminiscent of. You know how Jalen Brunson and Trey Young, the foul drawing that they do every time, bro, the foul baiting. It's the exact same thing, but in football form.
Why are you ruining my Tuesday?
You can. It's frustrating because I don't
You're
blame.
just naming 3 of the people I hate the most in this world. I wish them nothing but negative things. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Call me a bad person. I don't care. I was throwing Ben Simmons in there just reflexively, but honestly, I don't even care. Ben's fine. Do whatever you want. I'm hoping you
50
get
Cent mean.
Yeah, me. What I do? Yeah, no, but Trey Young, Jalen Brunson, Patrick Mahomes, you're going to the 7th layer of hell, and I'm going to be there with Satan, just torturing you, and I'm going to take pleasure in it. All right, so this is a good question. Why does Jalen just get so much hate? And I know we've covered this a lot of times, but a lot of factors that go into it. But Morris Chestnut got on NFL Network today, and it's crazy, huh?
ESPN.
ESPN. It's crazy that they have to have like actors come on in to speak some sense. Everyone's freaking out about Jalen this, Jalen that. We're on the verge of Jalen probably, going to the Super Bowl first with the first-year offensive coordinator.
He has as many NFC Championship appearances as Dak Prescott has playoff wins.
No, not that, but yeah, that too. Oh my gosh, he has to win this game. He has to win this game. My sanity. But if he does, he will be the first quarterback in 18 tries for the last.
Oh, to go back after losing the first time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has
dude.
to break the curse.
Marino never broke it. Break it for my dad, dude. That like, please, Jalen. My dad is a broken fan. Like, just redeem him. No, yeah, and he's probably gonna have a new coordinator next year. For being honest, Kellen Moore has been named as the favorite for the Cowboys job. So there's a strong possibility that Jalen has another first-year coordinator again next year. I mean, why can't anyone have any damn context or nuance in this situation?
All I'm saying is, I ain't hard to find. We're gonna leave it at that. Hopefully you go find him. He ain't hard to find. But
are we thinking the same thing, Q?
Yeah, we're thinking the same thing. I don't know if it's realistic. I think he locked in Boulder, but I think if they offered it, he'll take it.
I don't think
just that job alone. Just that
I don't
job.
think they're gonna offer it.
I know what I don't know, dude.
I don't even know what that was.
It would be the most Jerry thing possible. Yeah. It would literally be the most Jerry thing. But Kellen was an ex player too. This is like Jerry having a.
He loves Kellen.
Which
extra points.
Eye do I love more, my left eye or my right eye?
Jerry it's bigger than that, bro. Because it's extra points for if he get Kellen. I don't know if Prime gonna let Jason Witten on the staff, but Kellen sounds like he willing to do it.
Jason Witten's on Prime staff.
No, I said if Prime is gonna let Jason Witten on the staff. But I think Kellen Moore willing to do it. And I mean, I hear Jerry Jones really want Jason Witten on the staff, but I mean, they're at home. They can go to hell.
I think Kellen's gone.
Yeah,
I think there's too many
on to Dallas.
And even if it's not Dallas, I think there's just like he's gotten a couple interviews, and so I mean, I'd be curious to see. And honestly, whatever. As long as we keep Jeff Stoutland, dude, like that's all I care about. Like our run game will always.
I guess the frustrating part about it to me, and I tweeted this earlier, is we've been left underwhelmed this year, rightfully so. It should and could be better. We're still expecting better heading into an NFC Championship game appearance, which is a crazy conversation anyway. But you can make the argument. Wow, this team is probably much more talented and deeper than that team. In 2021, when they made the switch from Nick to Shane, in terms of calling plays. This is exactly what the offense looked like. They ran the ball a whole damn lot. Jalen really didn't throw it much. I mean, he tried to do what he could. It was an argument of, well, we literally spent our whole offseason in 2020 heading into 2023 defending, can Jalen Hurts be this quarterback because of that reason? And then 2023 happened, and 2022 happened, and it's like, look, second year in the system, he looks freaking awesome here. So here we are now in the first year. It's run heavy, especially because look at the personnel. We got heaviest offensive line in football, probably the best running back in football. Why wouldn't you? But I do think like you said, he's probably gone, but it'll always be something there.
No,
you wonder.
It's an extremely valid point, because like we literally just talked about, he has never had the same OC twice, except the time he went to the Super Bowl, right? So that's a huge part of the conversation. That being said, Jalen and Shane's second year together also coincided with bringing in an all-pro wide receiver who is also on the team right now. So, there of course there's, the historical context, and just even thinking about it, like having multiple years in the system, you're just more comfortable. There's all those aspects, but Kellen Moore has had all the weapons.
I guess for me, it's a lot easier to implement that all-pro wide receiver when your quarterback understands what you're looking for from him. How do you implement all of these weapons when your quarterback is still learning the system? And I mean, again, we're in the NFC Championship game. All of this just sounds like a bunch of excuses if you talk to some people. But I mean, I do think context matters, and these are true conversations that, again, it's something worth to think about.
Absolutely. But on the other hand, is if we make the Super Bowl this year, then Jalen did it with the first year coordinator, right? Who's to say that he can't do that again? And somebody who actually brings in some passing concepts that excite us in the slightest. I mean, how many games have we genuinely been more than whelmed, not underwhelmed, but more than whelmed by Kellen? It's really tough for me to find those games. And it's disappointing because, one, we know what Jalen's capable of, and two, we know what our receivers are capable of. And so not seeing that quantify on the field is what's kind of been frustrating to me. And so I understand what you're saying about 2 years. And at the end of the day, if Kellen is back, I'm not going to be angry about it, right? But if Kellen is gone, I'm not going to be pressed about it either. I think that's about where I'm at.
So before we switch off this conversation, if Kellen is gone, give me one name for offensive coordinator.
Kubiak.
Clint? I'll say I want Clint Kubiak, but it's going to be Kevin Patullo. I already know. It's going to be Kevin Patullo.
That's
it's only going to be Kevin. It's only going to be Kevin Patullo if they can win.
That's the most Eagles high. Oh my god!
They literally have to win. Like it's not going to be we went to a Super Bowl and I had say in some of what we were doing in the wide receiver room. Extra points for Kevin Patullo. I'm the pass game coordinator, which is freaking underwhelming, but.
Oh boy, Nick's died, man.
Nick, I know, and Nick only. I hate to say it like that because I pump my chest. I'd be the first to pop my chest about Nick. Like he's freaking awesome. If you ask me, forget everything that everybody else says. At the same time, if you don't win this Super Bowl, bro, you listening to us have this conversation about what can we do to make the passing game, the offense better, and you want me to make this guy the pass game coordinator, the passing game coordinator. They at least if they lose, they ain't even got to win. If they lose, Jalen has to have a game like he had the first time in terms of passing. Like give them a reason for you to be able to say, "Well, look what he did." Because right now, it's nothing there to say. Kevin Patullo
can't do the Brian Johnson thing again, dude. I love Brian Johnson, but that would be literally the exact same thing, and just showing.
I think it'll work a little more because I think Nick will actually trust Kevin. But you're right.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There was all that nonsense last year. But it's just like, guys, I get that we admire what we have in the building. We have our identity. But bringing in ideas from outside is not wrong. And you don't need to do the nonsense brain trust. What year is it? What year was it? It was Doug's last year, right? With like
when they had Rich Gangarello and
Marty Morningweg, right?
And who else?
Yeah,
Andrew Briner. Wait, I want to see how many I can name.
Listen, we're going to the NFC Championship. We don't need to do this.
I want to see how many I can name.
He's
Andrew Briner, Rich Gangarello, Marty Morningweg. Who else was in the room? Was Mike Groh still there?
I don't think so. No, he was gone. He was the offensive coordinator and then gone. He was a scapegoat.
All right, we can switch topics.
I think that might have been the first year Aaron Moorhead, actually.
I think so, yeah.
This is a real sicko conversation. But anyway, so on to the other side of the ball. Let's talk about Big Zen, aka Vic Fangio.
Big Zen is crazy.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
How we guys feeling? I mean, it's for me, of course, we'll like I said, we'll get this NFC Championship conversation at some point soon. But I think it's safe to say that in terms of accomplishments, Matthew Stafford was the best quarterback remaining in the NFC. Now, in terms of current play, there's an argument to be made about young guy in Washington that we'll talk about soon. But it was hell, for lack of a better term. I mean, like you said, Parth, you were at the game. It was a lot of up, a lot of down, like I said before the game, it was going to be a chess match between these two. I expected nothing more, nothing less. And I think the weather added a little bit of intensity for both sides because it made it harder in terms of what you could and should do. You got to figure out what is and what isn't working. Couldn't play your cornerback because I noticed, I guess it was frustrating for me. Like I said in the pregame show or pregame pod, Eagles played, I believe it was 43% man coverage snaps against the Rams, at least before garbage time, first time they played. And I'm watching this game and I'm like, why do they keep playing these soft zones? I mean, I know he probably do something to get away from it, but now you see how the game ended up turning out. It's like, okay, make him read defenses for 60 minutes and eventually the last 30 minutes or so he is going to be in a blizzard. I get it, but
I also think them losing Quell went into that too in terms of how we called the game from a coverage standpoint. Because like
sure.
Isaiah Rodgers, he more than held his own, but it was kind of similar to the Avonte Maddox conversation where it's like, dude, they're just too small. Your arms are too short, bro.
He was in
position. What you say, Parth? T-Rex arms,
alligator arms. It's true, man. But it was interesting that in dime we saw Keeley come in the field.
Yeah,
they came with like the bigger.
They listened to me.
Big Zen was listening to Pierre. Put some respect on Big Zen's name, bro. He's been cooking that all year, dude. He put in 2 6s and he was like
cooking it up.
We're putting Keeley in.
I was like, okay, he made the switch. Thank goodness. Because I mean, like you said, Isaiah was holding his own, but it was getting too bad. And it was so frustrating because, like they said on the broadcast, when Slay went out the first game and Isaiah had to come in, they just targeted him and they were doing it again. And it was like, how do you this isn't coaching right here. This is just a skill differential right now.
And what's the nice thing to see is just the way that Vic throughout the game adjusted. We've seen so many times Jonathan Gannon guys just be stuck in how they do things and just be stubborn about it. Vic was willing to change up, right? We talked about that drive where they went down in like a minute. The next drive, they turned the water off, and so these things are important. Those things don't just happen, especially against an OC like Sean McVay. They switched it up. They played more dime than they have in a long time. They played more man than they did last time. And so they just throwing some curveballs was just important. And that's what you like to see out of a defensive coordinator. And that's why you pay Vic Fangio, because
you know why you're able to throw them curveballs and things of that nature? Because you got a guy up front. I think they call him the bread man or something of that nature. But he's getting where I think, played 68 of 70 defensive snaps and was double teamed on 26 of his 49 pass rush attempts.
You saw
still ruined the game for them, man.
The two of the biggest plays were like on like some of his biggest plays were like on like the 68th play that he played. Like, I mean, that's a gutsy performance, man. That's gutting it out. That's putting it all out on the field. And we were worried about if he'd be able to do it at the beginning of the season. Now we're sitting here going to the NFC Championship, and the guy has played like every damn minute on defense. Iron Man, dude.
Like, how awesome is it? Like, to just it's like you don't physically see it, but like you can
feel it
intangibly, you can feel it. Like the dude just flipped the switch, and it's just like pressure, sack, pressure. So like I'm like watching him, like he looked generational.
It's very
like, every bit of
rare.
the generational tag that he had coming out of Georgia.
That's why he's the number one player on my board.
that strip was crazy. The Kyron Williams where he just punched it out. He smacked that shit, dude.
Bro, when Isaiah Rodgers picked up that ball, dog, I screamed like a madman.
I was losing it. Yeah, big time shout out to Nolan Smith, man. We talked about it last pod, but I mean, strip sack
on that last sentence, man. This freaking scammer.
He is a scammer.
He didn't play a snap. No, bro, they didn't play him one time. He just sat on the sideline stealing money.
They gotta figure out a way to get off that contract.
Many. We went from having one Rashad Penny to having two. Shout out to James Bradbury out there chilling somewhere, man.
I was about to ask who the second one was, and I totally forgot about that. You know what? Good, bro. I'm glad, dude. And then you know what's gonna happen? He's going to be put in. It's going to be like, James, we need you to go in. He's going to hit the game-sealing pick in the Super Bowl. Just, I'm here for it. I'm seated.
Redemption. Redemption.
Hey, bro, imagine Bradbury picking off Mahomes.
Unbelievable. It would be unbelievable. The vibes would be through the roof.
Bro, ESPN, I can see ESPN right now. And it's intercepted by Bradbury. Stops in the middle of the play. And flashback to 2022, where Bradbury is caught for the hold. Now, like, oh my goodness.
The story writes itself. NFL script writers come to me. NFL script writers come to me.
That's why that dude on Twitter who was like, "Oh, the Eagles have no compelling storylines." Shut up. You sound stupid.
James Bradbury redemption arc. That's what we got, baby. That's what we got. Yes, sir.
That tweet pissed me off, man. Like
I could tell.
There are multiple teams. I mean, there are multiple storylines that you could chose from with this team. Where it's like, I mean, I get it. You can make the argument that I'd much rather see those other storylines that I named than this one, than for you to say the Eagles have no compelling storyline. What the hell are we doing here?
We lost the Super Bowl.
There is no more compelling storyline. Like, I'm almost begging the football fan in me, the Eagles fan in me, just the fan of life is begging for an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl, bro. Because if we can beat them and they have lost to the entire division, it's like, what can you say, man? What can you say?
That's what I like. I like hater Quell the most. I don't like it when you come in positive. That's what I like. We're looking for ways to hate, creative ways to hate. Oh, we won? Yeah, but y'all have never beat an NFC East.
My man, so even though I thrive off negativity.
Yes, excellent.
But no, I asked this in the chat. Well, why do y'all think that is? Like, why? Not necessarily why do the Eagles get so much hate, but like, why is the vibe around the team nationally, like, what did we do? Like, is it because we have so many stars? Like, I don't understand it.
You want the real answer or you want the public answer?
Give your answer that we talked about. Give your answer we talked about.
What'd you say, Pierre?
Give us both, Q.
The real answer is, like I tell Parth all the time, is because they know people like you and me and Parth and everybody that's listening to us talk right now are going to click the link to listen to them talk negative about the Eagles. And we're going to leave comments and we're going to spread the hate to all of our, what we just say, Parth, thrive off negativity. We're going to have 109 people in their comments thriving off negativity. And what I tell you guys from the start of everything, all publicity is good publicity because your name is getting around. And it's so much easier to have some of these cities like New York is another city where you can kind of use that tool. The New York media does a great job of doing that in the city specifically. I don't think the national media takes advantage of it as much as the in-state media does, but
national
it's
media
so easy.
As soon as the Knicks got good, it was just like, oh, Knicks this, Knicks that. Stephen A, give him a chance. He's just gonna only talk about New York. The other thing you told me, Quell, is just that all the teams that are national media darlings. Who are their rivals? The Celtics, the Cowboys. I mean, you think about their two biggest rivals. It's Philly. So
it's so easy to paint Philly as the villain. Now,
good.
the public answer is, I mean, we talked about it. Who the hell wants to watch a football team in the Super Bowl where a quarterback gonna throw for 112 yards? While we're over here saying no one likes us, we don't care, and we just want to win the game, they're over there saying, I just want to watch good football. And to them, I'm not trying to watch Saquon Barkley run 98 yards and then a tush push happen. And then they play good defense and then watch it all over again.
Real ball. They could
never. Real gridiron football.
It's not modern football. It's not.
No, it's not
what the people want to see.
It's not flashy. It's not flashy. It's not giving you Mahomes scrambling around the pocket, chucking it deep, and then somehow finding someone and they catch it. It's not that.
Bro, I seen somebody post a video on Twitter today from the game, the Super Bowl, where the Chiefs was getting thrashed by the Buccaneers. It was like 31-9 at the point in time. And they showing the player Mahomes running around. It was an incomplete pass, bro. And just because he dove and threw the ball, like, look, I'm reminiscing. I'm like, are you serious? This is a loss. This play had no impact on the game. But this is what the people want to see.
You know what it goes back to? Everybody's attention span is so short. That's what it goes back to. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody going to watch. What did Marshawn say?
I'm so confused now.
Trying to watch somebody run the ball.
We were talking about ball. Now he's like, this is TikTok brain.
It is, bro.
TikTok brain is when they pass the ball.
It is.
Brother, Patrick Mahomes was here before TikTok. This nonsense was there. I'm pretty sure that Super Bowl was before TikTok. This is fanboyhood. All right, one sec. My dog is freaking out at the.
It's live podcasting. Gotta get the dog.
But so this was a good question, and I mean, you guys are gonna have to help me because I can only think of like really one. Which former Eagle from Super Bowl 52 is going to get their second team? All four teams have at least one. So with the Eagles, I guess it's just Jake.
BG.
Oh, BG, yeah, but he's not. Is there anyone who's playing who was on that team? Oh, Lane. Line. Lane.
I don't know, man. I don't know. BG. They said Super Bowl potentially.
It may. He said we'll see. Now it could just be gamesmanship.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about BG actually playing. Yeah, I saw that. It was like a 3-month repair, right? And we're just about hitting 3 months. So, I mean, thing is like if they make the Super Bowl, I could see him doing it, and then just saying to hell with it. If I blow my shit out, like it's blown out, I'm gonna retire after this game if we win. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. That is true though. That's true.
It did say former Eagle. So is that saying someone from other teams? None of them, because we're gonna win. But
yes,
Lane.
Somebody mentioned Lane, so he's on the team for sure.
It has to be Lane and
that's a really good question.
And Jake Elliott.
Yeah,
I think we're answering the question wrong.
Yeah, he's talking about other teams too. I was just thinking about who was on the Eagles. I was stuck on that, but yeah.
That's a good question.
Who are the other Eagles? Can someone put it in the chat? Oh, Ertz, of course. And then who's on the Chiefs? That's what I'm trying to think of.
There's somebody on the Chiefs?
He said there's somebody on all four teams.
And who's on the Bills?
I'm Googling.
Yeah, we're just sitting here.
Here we go. That's great podcasting right there. Oh, Chiefs Wentz.
When?
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good point, bro. That's crazy. Wentz.
That's disgusting.
Wentz and Ertz, yeah, get them the hell out of here with the. Let me shake your hand. Get the hell out of here, buddy. Stupid.
Rasul Douglas.
Rasul.
I thought he's still with Buffalo.
Good.
I believe so.
Wasn't he?
Always got love for Rasul. That was my guy.
He was cool, but it was more of a finger wag swag out here. Jalen Mills says
he wasn't as bad as Jalen. Jalen was horrible, bro. He would get beat by like 15 yards and be like back there 15 yards away.
That's real football, Parth.
He belt.
That's real football. That's how you play cornerback.
That's like
I locked you up.
I hate corners. This is why I hate corners. I can't stand them. They're just insane. They're insane people. Receivers are insane, but corners are even worse, dude. It's
The
like
seatbelt.
brother.
The seatbelt celebration is top 5. It's top 5. My favorite football celebrations.
Easy.
They be joining this box. I have no idea what this box is, but they throw the hell out of it. I'll be like, yeah, lock them up, boy.
Oh, hey, the shoeless wonder backpack
Oh,
Mac.
yeah.
Those two. Great point, generic name. You're really out here thinking generic. We appreciate you, generic.
Yeah, generic out here. He out here taking one for the team. That's a real blitz boy.
Key player of this game this weekend, not named Saquon.
It's only one player.
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter. They're missing Sam Cosme.
You are wrong.
He gave Jalen Carter trouble that first game. That was like the first game we saw Jalen have trouble, and then after that,
right.
Huh?
That's right. That's correct. That is true.
Yeah.
I was going to say Jalen Hurts.
Oh well,
Jalen Hurts has to, even if he's not 100% healthy, Jalen Hurts has to be able to keep them honest. Mm-hmm. The threat of running Jalen Hurts has to be there. We've seen
so huge the last couple weeks. Yeah,
not even just because how big it's been for the team. You're right. They've definitely used it over the last couple weeks significantly. It's not even just that for me. It's more so we've seen in the second game once Jalen went out and they were able to key in on Kenny Pickett and just say he's not going to run. We're just going to stop Saquon. The different outside of that, what was that 68-yard run or 66, something like that. He had a pretty long day.
I mean,
as long as we got the track. Go ahead.
I will say that, after Jalen's initial injury in the game against the Rams, we did kind of see him. He was a little mobile. He could roll out on the little play action joints and everything like that.
Yeah, but how much of that was perk he was on in the adrenaline?
They have my boy Geek.
My man out there was talking about video games, bruh. Yeah, I used to when I was playing.
100% on snow. Snow. Eagles are trained to go.
I'm like, oh no, that's not the. Remember when Brandon Graham was like, y'all don't know Jalen Hurts like I know Jalen Hurts. That wasn't Jalen Hurts. That was not Jalen Hurts.
But I also think him having, this week to kind of not heal up, but, I guess get the knee as right as he going to get it in a week is huge too.
So I kind of touched on this on Twitter. I mean, I guess there could be a slow transition until their soft preview of the NFC Championship game. We got to get a body on Frankie Louisville.
Knock him out.
Not even just that. Not even just that. You crazy.
Greg Williams type beat.
That's all he wants. If that's all he wants to do, all game,
maniacal.
I'm coming in targeting, brother, spearing him in the head on kickoff. If that's how you want to come down like that.
Maniacs.
Bro. Absolutely, bro. Some smelling salts, and you go down the field. Tell Burks to go down there. Tell him to do his thing. Come on. Frankie Louisville.
Do that thing you did against the Packers.
Exactly. Do it again. Do it again.
I'll pay the fine.
Louisville, he's a headhunter, bro. Like even the interception, the pick six with the Lions and Washington game last game, bro. He's a headhunter, man. This is extremely, very, very dirty player.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know if I call him dirty.
Brother, he goes out of his way to smack the quarterback in the head as soon as the play is going the other way. He's dirty. It's like,
that's
dude,
regular football though.
It's not, bro.
That's what
when
they teach you.
When they go and
I
they
don't
go.
Say what they teach you, but how many times have you heard?
I don't think they're teaching them to go after.
Honestly,
I don't think they're teaching them to go after the quarterback in the NFL. After all the penalties that they get on unsportsmanlike conduct for hitting the quarterback like that, I'm pretty sure they say just
at
leave
that point.
If that was Mahomes, if that was Mahomes that he did that to, they would suspend him for the rest of the playoffs. He'd be in
a body bag leaving the stadium, bro.
I mean,
the black hands.
We also know that they have their select few quarterbacks that they protect until the end. Well, just him and Brady actually, but I mean,
absolutely. But point is like this guy has a history of just going after and finding quarterbacks and trying to hit them late. He did it to Jalen too. And this guy he's been doing this all season. At one point, we can call a spade a spade. I know people don't want to say whatever about people, but if he wants to play that way, you're gonna pick up a reputation if you continue to do the same thing.
It's the same thing.
He's Al-Sha'ir. Like If you just keep doing the same thing, people are going to catch on. It's not going to just like, it's the same reason Dominic Sue had a reputation. Bro was dirty. Remember him twisting all the ankles and stuff? It comes with the territory. You take it when he's on your
But
team.
you don't see him twisting no ankles or, you know what I'm saying?
No,
It's
he's just going,
him getting a hit on the quarterback
on the head as soon as they slide. How many times have we seen Frankie Louvu hit someone as they're sliding and just come in face first and just try to knock their head on the ground? That's his number one move.
He needs to learn how to tackle.
That's his thing. That's his thing. That's why I'm just like, come on, bro. Like, just play normal. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And you know what? If he does anything, you know who I know is going to take care of it? Jalen Carter. He'll do something. I know it. He'll crash out enough. They got their crash out. We got ours.
We got a bunch of crash outs on this team, bro.
Oh, CJ will do something.
Especially when you start mentioning Jalen Hurts, man. I think Joe Mailata, he gonna find him like, hey, what you doing? If Joe Mailata ain't learned nothing from Jason Peters, he learned that quarterback, you protect him with your life, boy. Somebody lay a finger on him, you go get him.
You know who's quietly a crash out on the team too? Sidney Brown.
Every time, bro, you seen him at the end of that punt, just tackled, bro, for no reason.
That's a great point. That is a great point, Pierre. That was a hilarious. It was the game is. He's just like, get down. And he just like looks at him and then walks away. That was so mean, dude. I love it. Give me more of that.
He is
between the lines.
You could tell he played defense. He angry that his brother played offense and he played defense.
He's never played an offensive snap in his life. Oh my god, that man just screams like I just want to hit people all day, dude.
That's why he doesn't play. That's why he doesn't play actual defensive snaps. He's too out of control.
You know those people on the team, bro, and you see them and they're just like
my man play football like he in the headphones pregame listening to Boosie. I've been betrayed. Feel like they treat me like a slave.
He goes out there insane, dude. He genuinely just like he's like every person on this field has wronged me in some way, and I'm gonna just run through them because it's personal. It's incredible.
It's my type of safety.
It is. That's the only type of safety. I agree. Come down with your head on fire. All right, you guys got any parting little preview hints before we head out of here and get back on in a couple of days?
One word to describe how we're all feeling heading into the NFC Championship.
I'm ready.
That's two words, Parth. That's 2 words.
All right, fine. Ready. All right. Jeez. I wanted to do a SpongeBob thing, but you're not gonna let me do it. So all right, fine.
Hey, Alicia Keys. If you ask me, I'm ready.
No, I think my word is confident. Confident.
You've been using that same word for 4 weeks. Yeah, I respect the consistency. My word would be vengeful. That's the only thing that keeps coming to mind. The only thing that I keep seeing in my head is that damn video. That get back at MF. Go to hell. Right. Okay. It is. It is.
I agree, Biscuit. I'm broken.
I almost used that term, optimistic, but I feel genuinely quality about it, depending on which Jalen Hurts we get. That will sway my
his practice availability this week is going to be important to monitor.
I don't think he's going to practice much. I just hope that they perky him up before we go out there.
I really hope they do, because it's going to be a cold game again, and you need the reps. Cold reps are different than normal reps. The ball just that thing's a rock out there. That thing's a rock. So, yeah, because there were just like missed throws. Where you're like, damn, there's that out to AJ where I'm like, he makes that like 8 out of 10 times.
But then he had that throw across the middle. I think it was on a deep dig between three Rams, and AJ
it was like in the pocket. I was like, AJ, you got to catch that, bro. So absolutely, and that's
he usually does.
Exactly, and so that's my point. Is that's why I want them having these reps, is because cold reps are different. Just get out there, just get on the same page again. You guys are too damn good. It's not going to continue with you not having that connection. That connection carried us to a Super Bowl once. They'll figure it out.
Big Zingo had them ready to go after they gave up 35 points last time. He ain't.
No, dude, and yeah,
he already started. I don't know if y'all seen his presser. He already being complimentary of Jaden Daniels. He trying to set
quarterback.
He's trying to set up that right there. Like he's awesome. I don't know what we're gonna do to stop him.
Yeah.
Man.
So you got to do. It's the mind games. But all right. Appreciate all 135. Man. People jumping on right as we're getting off, bro. We appreciate you. Make sure you tap in. This will be available on all streaming platforms. I told somebody about us on the train on the way to the game. I saw he was listening to a podcast on the way to the game on a full train, and I was like, oh, he's a real sicko. I was like, he's a real sicko. I was like,
prepared for the game.
I was like, I got a podcast for you, bro. So if you're hearing this, appreciate you subscribing. Hope you enjoyed it. And to all of you who continue to subscribe and support us, we really appreciate you every single time. We have so much fun doing this, and we'll be back later this week for a preview.
And we
we're building something special here. So huge appreciation to everybody who taps into our streams, who gives us listens, retweets, likes, follows, all of that, subscriptions, all of that.
Brick by brick.
Brick by brick, day by day.
Oh, and listen, everyone, we got a goal. We want to hit 1,000 on Twitter, and we want to hit what was 100 on Instagram, right? Yeah. If y'all can just drop us a follow, it would mean a lot, help us to get to our goal, and we'll continue to bring you good content. So we appreciate y'all.
We got the username on the screen at the bottom.
Yep, and we'll be lots of content will be going up. So we appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
You see what he's saying?
Do it.
The Pulse of Philadelphia Sports lives here. Well, go Birds, you guys.
That's going to do it for this episode. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.